So I decided to stop here at Factory 45. Really beautiful coffee shop. I'm sitting right now outside in these little, I guess you'd call them booths, surrounded by koi fish. Nice touch. Yeah, so just finished lunch at Mia, where I go most days. Really good food, really affordable, and yeah, just using the day to learn the camera, set up different shots, see what works, what doesn't, you know, be able to play around with things like the zoom. How does that look? Not bad. Very hot today. That's probably going to affect how much I want to be outside. I'm right next to a public street, which explains all the bikes. It's just the primary form of transportation here in Vietnam, and you know, this part of the world in general. You know, life in Vietnam is coming back to normal. You know, I'm sitting outside a coffee shop. There's people inside. You know, still got to wear a mask when you're out. You know, walking the streets and such. This is my cotton mask. Basically walk around with. But the truth is, you know, less and less people are wearing masks when they're out. You know, there's kind of a, like I said, everything's going back to normal, so people are starting to act normal again. We'll have to see. You know, hopefully it won't return here in Vietnam. I mean, they've done a great job of keeping things under control. But you know, time will tell. But don't get me wrong, you know, I'm just watching now a guy on the bike go by. He's wearing a mask. A lot of people are still wearing masks. And you know, to kind of respect the rules and the, you know, send the right message, I'm going to be wearing a mask until, you know, it becomes official that it's no longer a requirement. There's been a lot of online debates by, you know, a lot of foreigners that are arguing, why should I wear a mask when the locals aren't? And you know, they raise a point. You know, you do take a walk through certain areas, and you know, there'll be big groups of locals, you know, sitting around, you know, playing cards, or you know, having these kind of like communal, I guess it's a whole, you know, families sitting around a table outside on, you know, on the sidewalk eating a meal. You know, and I kind of get where they're coming from, but the truth is, you know, we're visitors here, and you kind of just want to be safe rather than sorry, and just do the right thing. So yeah, so that's my kind of 5 cents, my 2 cents on that. This is my favorite place in Da Nang. Bunch of palm trees just off the main beach, in between the main beach and some resorts that stretch down the beach. Yeah, I've been planning on coming here. And using this scene, I guess you could call it, to explain a bit of my motivation behind buying all this equipment and, you know, starting to spend time on yet another project. So I want to kind of talk about my motivation behind starting, you know, to record videos like this, and, you know, thinking about YouTube and why I wanted to get into that. The first one I would say is to have a creative outlet. So, you know, I've been working in the high-tech space for like over 10 years now, and, you know, a lot of numbers, a lot of thinking about business and so on, and that's all great. I enjoy it, but it's not purely creative or kind of an art form. And I've been really itching to deal more in the creating for the sake of creating and having fun with it. You know, been thinking about going back to writing, and actually created a site I'll link to below where I'm going to be publishing some of my writings. And, you know, the idea is just, I have an idea, I want to sit for a few hours and write. No pressure, I'm not doing it to drive traffic or anything like that. It's just purely to write for the sake of writing. And, you know, I thought, why not use videography or vlogging as another way to kind of tap into that. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is as a way to document my experiences. I got this, you know, I got a lot of inspiration about over a year ago now from Dan Bilzerian, out of all people, who said in one of his interviews that, you know, he spent so much time in the military and he didn't have a single photo to kind of remember the experience. And this is why I started Instagram. You know, it wasn't to grow a business or even build a personal brand. It was mainly as a way for me to kind of be able to go back and say, right, I remember that day, and kind of now that, you know, the memories come back, as a way to kind of help me you know, remember these experiences. So I think vlogging is, or, you know, taking videos, uploading them to YouTube is another form of that. It's a way for me to kind of document and share my experiences with the world, you know, primarily with family and some friends, but obviously, you know, anyone else can watch and benefit from them. You know, I'm going to be recording a wide range of videos. Like I said, I want it to be kind of a fun thing I do, and explore the art form a bit, and yeah, just do it for the sake of doing it, like I said with the writing. The third reason is, I would say more, I don't know if narcissistic is the right word, or ego driven or something like that, but, you know, I've noticed this trend, and I think it's becoming clearer every day, that the power of, you know, the power of personal brands around education and entertainment. So, you know, if I take myself for example, I don't watch TV. There's only a few websites I go to regularly for, you know, news or really any form of entertainment other than YouTube and a few bloggers that I follow. And I primarily get their newsletters once a week, once every 2 weeks, and, you know, I like to get those emails and, you know, go through their content that way. And I feel the world is heading that direction. I think in the end of the day, you know, in a few years from now, we're all going to be subscribed to X number of people on YouTube, have a few bookmarked websites or newsletters, and that's how we're going to, you know, podcast, another great example, where, you know, you've got your 5 to 10 podcasts, you know, in your podcast player, and that's where you get your entertainment and your information today. So I kind of want to be part of that. I enjoy educating people and you know, creating content, putting it out in the world, and I think it's a way for me to connect with more people, obviously promote my businesses and, you know, my entrepreneurial projects. So, you know, I think that's kind of, and I purposely left it as the last of the three options, because you can fall into that trap of saying, okay, I'm going to do this because I want traffic, I want money. And I think, you know, from what I've seen by really digging into this world, you know, before going ahead and buying this camera and you know, starting to record videos, is it's a long journey. It's something where if you're going to do it for the money from day one, you're going to fail. So I think I want to do this, you know, for the fun of it, learn a new skill set, put it out in the world, and if I can be consistent with it, then, you know, that would be an added benefit of growing a following, connecting with more people, you know, grow my businesses through this platform, through YouTube and video in general. But like I said earlier, it's not a primary reason why I'm doing this. So those are three reasons. There might be one or two other smaller ones, but those are kind of the main ones.